The wait is over. Dragon Ball Daima episode 1 is finally here. This episode does so much right to reintroduce us into the world of Dragon Ball. Daima sets up a whole new storyline while heavily referencing material from the final arc of the manga, with some iconic moments from the Buu saga reanimated, along with the introduction of the main villains of Daima, and not to forget catching up with Goku and everyone. The first episode well and truly exceeded all of my expectations. Daima's first episode is about 10 minutes longer than a typical anime episode, since quite a large portion of this episode is reintroducing fans into the world of Dragon Ball, and it's evident that this is Dragon Ball for a whole new generation, while also staying relevant to fans who have been following the series for a long time. 10 minutes of the episode are spent recapping the events of the Buu arc, before we are introduced to the main villains of the series, who include Goma, Dagisu, and Dr. Arinsu. And in terms of our main cast, they have all arrived at Capsule Corp in order to celebrate the birthday of Kid Trunks. And during this moment, well actually throughout the entirety of this episode, there are so many tidbits of information that we learn, as more information is divulged to us about the Potara fusion and how Goku and Vegeta were able to diffuse within the body of Buu, as we get a official confirmation in this episode of what had happened to them. And then you have the sheer amount of fan service which is all over this episode, from previous iconic moments being reanimated to an all new battle between Goku and Vegeta. Everything builds up to Goma and Dagisu arriving on Earth as they execute a diabolical plan to transform everybody who had fought Majin Buu, including all of their friends, into children. So these are the key events of the first episode, but now I want to dive into some specific details about particular moments that I really enjoyed about Daima episode 1. The beginning of the episode as a die-hard Dragon Ball fan was absolutely incredible. We went through key moments of Goku's childhood and his journey up until the present timeline of Daima, but it's an understatement to say that the art and animation and the love that they have poured into, well, every section of this episode is just overwhelming. People who truly love Dragon Ball and know how to draw Toriyama's art style are working on this series, and shots like this are just gorgeous. Like, each character looks on model, and they're going as far as to follow the art style of Toriyama for that given period of time from the manga. We have some stunning imagery from the Saiyan saga here, with Raditz arriving on Earth, as Goku's backstory is reintroduced to us, and it's worth noting that we get a shot of Bardock here, but it's from his new design that Toriyama had done from Dragon Ball Minus. And pieces of information like this, that Saiyans maintain a youthful body for much of their lives, is also included. This is what I was saying, that tidbits of information like this are scattered throughout the entirety of this episode. During the initial bit of the episode, we do get to see some amazing visuals of Frieza, as well as Cell, and lastly Kid Buu. And again, every piece of art is absolutely gorgeous, from how the characters look to the color, the lighting, and again just how on model everything looks. So we cut to the main cast who will be appearing in Dragon Ball Daima. So this is a group shot of everyone. Episode 1 Conspiracy talks about a new threat which faces Earth after the defeat of Kid Buu. So it's important to note that for Daima, the story and character designs were all done by Akira Toriyama, who was heavily involved with the production of this anime, and some would even go as far as to say that this is Toriyama's last work. So we truly begin the episode with these stunning shots of the Demon Realm. The characters Goma and Dagisu appear to be reviewing the events of the Majin Buu arc. Both of them are disappointed that the Supreme Demon King Dabura would fall victim to Babidi's magic. This is where the spectacular reanimated scenes from the Majin Buu arc are being showcased, and I just can't get over how incredible everything looks in a modern art style, with character designs by Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru, combined with some of the best animators at Toei Animation working on this series. Daima, for this reason alone, is truly spoiling Dragon Ball fans. So we learned that the Supreme Kai is in fact Dagisu's older brother. So while observing Goku and Vegeta, they are shocked that beings as powerful as them can exist within the mortal world, and they even speculate that the two of them may be Majin, but Goma points out that both of their ears are round. So much lore is being dropped as Dagisu comments on how they are able to fly as well as fire energy beams from their hands. Goma in particular is angered by the fact that mortals possess such power. To the two of them, abilities like these are exclusive to people from the Majin race, who apparently can be identified by the pointed ears that they have. They comment on the release of Majin Buu as they speculate that Babidi doesn't just intend on ruling the mortal outside world, but by having released Buu, he wants to rule over the demon realm as well as the other worlds. After witnessing Dabura being devoured by Buu, Degisu tells Goma that he is now the king of the demon realm. I just love how everything is being tied back to the events of the Buu arc, and it's being done seamlessly. Goma says that it's too soon to celebrate being the king of the demon realm because Babidi is going to use Buu on them next. Interestingly, the two of them comment on the arrival of Piccolo as they identify him as a Namek. Now what's interesting is that Piccolo does have pointed ears. We do get more information on this later in the episode. Goma immediately recognizes the Dragon Balls, and Degisu even comments on the fact that there are 7 of them there. Degisu doesn't appear to be familiar with Shenron, as he says that the dragon's taken on quite a different appearance from the dragon that he knows of, which is Porunga, and they are shocked by the fact that at this point in the story, Shenron was able to grant 3 wishes. It's hilarious that the two of them just laugh at the fact that Buu has just utterly decimated Babidi. So when the scene shifts to Super Buu arriving on Kami's lookout, they identify that another Namek, which is Dende, is also present on Earth. Now this is an absolutely insane reveal, which confirms that the Namekians originate from the demon realm, as Degisu says that it's no wonder that they couldn't find any Namekians because they had all escaped into the outside world. It's baffling how characters who were introduced way back in the Frieza arc are getting new information and lore about them within 2024, and to be honest, it ties together with the story of the manga perfectly. It's quite a solid backstory to the Namekian race. It really is awesome to see these reanimated scenes and then the commentary of Goma and Degisu as they provide new information and lore to us. Their shock now turns at the mortals who were able to defeat Majin Buu, who, if you remember, to the two of them was such a powerful threat that Buu would be able to take over all of the worlds with the strength that he had. While Goma is very quick to panic, Degisu appears to be the level-headed one between the two of them, as he reassures him by saying that with Buu gone, nobody stands in his way. While Degisu congratulates Goma on becoming the Supreme Demon King, we are then introduced to a new character called Dr. Arinsu. Arinsu is revealed to be the sister of Degisu and in turn the sister of the Supreme Kai. Arinsu brings up an important point to Goma, that the people who defeated Majin Buu pose a threat to his rule over the demon realm, because if they were to invade the demon realm, then they would easily be able to put a stop to Goma's rule. So Goma proposes to use the Dragon Balls, but Degisu says that these individuals called the 3 powerful Tamagamis protect them. These must be the Dragon Balls of the demon realm. Goma instead proposes to use the Dragon Balls from Earth as they are much easier to gather than those from the demon realm. So Degisu reveals an important piece of information here, that the magic or power that the characters like Goku and Vegeta use is centered around white magic, while contrastingly the power or magic from beings like Majin Buu is dark magic. And if the Dragon Balls were created by using white magic, then a black wish like eliminating Goku and the others most likely won't be accepted. And we know from the lore of the manga that in terms of power scaling, a dragon like Shenron or Porunga is only as strong as the person who had created the dragon. So no, Shenron won't be able to eliminate Goku and the others, which is why Goma proposes to turn them into children so that they no longer pose a threat to them. And in terms of the second wish, Goma wants to get the evil third eye. So Degisu, being the legend that he is, reveals more lore to us that this third eye is the legendary Tertian Oculus. Apparently this third eye was lost during the reign of Dabura's father, called the Supreme Demon King Abura. Like Goma explains, this third eye grants its wielder unbelievable power. This third eye was passed down from one Supreme Demon King to another, and while Goma is thinking about what to do with the third wish, Degisu requests for him to be given the third one, but Goma doesn't give it up that easily. For now, he says that he's busy with his coronation party and he's going to be doing speeches in the 3 demon worlds. So Goma also says that he's going to be bringing a Namek with them to Earth called Neva, who will assist them with their plan to shrink Goku and the others. So Neva's incredibly old, but he knows a lot of information about the Dragon Balls. Throughout this entire conversation, it seems like somebody has been eavesdropping, and this is a character who we haven't been introduced to, but we do know from the promotional material his name is Glorio, and we'll know more about Glorio in episode 2 of Daima. But it's at this point that we reach the midpoint of the episode. So Neva the Namek is dressed up as a guardian, and it seems like the Dragon Balls of the demon realm are actually created by him. Goma is frustrated that there is literally a Dragon Ball right next to him here, but it is being protected by this being called a Tamagami. This Tamagami appears to be wielding a oversized sword, and it seems like it's working for Neva. So the 3 of them begin their journey to the outside world, as Neva comments comments that they are not really supposed to go there. There's this giant robotic fish who's floating in the air, stopping them from going as it requests for a pin, but Degisu says that the pin is 0493, and while appearing to be intimidating, after getting the pin, it just allows them to go through into the outside world. They enter into the mouth of the robotic fish and then find themselves in front of this golden portal, as it appears as though this is the gate into the outside world. So a fish on the other side asks them which universe they want to go to. So this is in line with Dragon Ball Super, as Degisu says that they want to go to Universe 7. So they learn that Dr. Arensu is already ahead of them and has already made her way towards Earth. The scene then cuts to Trunks' birthday. Trunks' age here is 9 years old, and it seems like this is happening immediately after the events of the Kid Buu saga. Krillin comments on how Trunks looks pretty short for a 9-year-old, but Goku says that all Saiyans get a growth spurt at around age 15, which explains why Trunks and Goten appeared to be kids for such a long time. It's just shocking how everything is just so consistent, because the same thing happened with Goku. There was a bit of a time skip, and then when he returned to the story in Dragon Ball, he was the size of a regular adult from being a kid. Now this is really interesting. When Goku comments on the fact that the Supreme Kai and Kibito are no longer fused, he says that he thought that the Potara fusion could not be undone. So how are they unfused now? So the Supreme Kai says that when Goku and Vegeta had fused and they entered Majin Buu, they ended up splitting apart again for some reason. So the Supreme Kai says that they had enlisted the help of Majin Buu, who had inhaled Kibito Kai, and when Buu had spat them out, they were separated. Kibito explains that the body of Majin Buu must create a mysterious gas which can reverse the Potara fusion. This is most likely as a result of the Potara fusion being a white magic and the body of Majin Buu being consisting of black magic, so the two naturally repel each other. We get more lore being dumped here as Krillin comments on how Goku had asked Shenron to make Buu into a good guy so that he could remain on Earth. Now a lot of people have been commenting on how Gohan is absent from nearly all promotional material of Daima. So with this being immediately after the Buu saga, it seems like Gohan is catching up on all of his studies, so he's distanced himself from Goku and the others. This is unbelievable. So after eating, Goku challenges Vegeta to a training session, and he's more than happy to train with him. This is an amazingly choreographed fight scene which happens above Capsule Corp. There is a wealth of really good art and animation on display here as they clash through the skies going into the upper atmosphere. This segment really wasn't necessary for the progress of the story, but it's just a really nice fan service addition, with Vegeta unleashing his Gallic gun and Goku responding with a Kamehameha as both energy beams clash. The training session appears to come to an end with Goku delivering the final punch. So Goma, Degisu and Neva arrive as they appear on Kami's lookout. As Dende meets with Neva, the elderly Namek says that he hasn't seen anybody from his own race in thousands of years. Degisu reveals that they have arrived from the demon realm, as he tells Dende that his ancestors seemingly would have arrived from there too, since his ears are pointy. Degisu doesn't leave Popo out, who stood there in the back, as he says that he too has originated from the demon realm. So when Dende refuses to gather the Dragon Balls for Goma, the Supreme Demon King asks Neva to gather all of the Earth's Dragon Balls, and in exchange he'll extend his life by 1000 years. So we learn more information here. Neva created the original Dragon Balls of the demon realm, but he also created terrifying beings called the Tamagamis, who protect the Dragon Balls of the demon realm. The Tamagamis are way too powerful to defeat, so for this reason the Dragon Balls have not been gathered in the demon realm for a very long time. So Neva comments on how the Dragon Balls have been turned to stone, which is usually what happens when all of the wishes have been granted and there's a period of 1 year where the Dragon Balls cannot be used again. The visuals look absolutely amazing here as the elderly Namek fires out 7 beams of light from the lookout. These beams immediately locate the Dragon Balls, which are currently stones. Neva brings all 7 of the inactive Dragon Balls to them, and Neva is easily able to restore the Dragon Balls before the 1 year time limit, much to the shock of Dende, but he says that he will never tell them the password to Shenron. Degisu reveals that they already know the password. As Dende tries to stop him, he delivers a swift chop which knocks out Dende. Disappointingly, Popo doesn't get in on the action. Instead of retaliating against Degisu and fighting, because we know that he can fight, he just offers them some juice. I mean, the thing is, Popo would have been knocked out anyway, it just would have have been cool to see him at least be useful. The final moments of Daima episode 1 involve Degisu summoning Shenron as they make their wish, while Goku and the others suspect that Shenron has been summoned. Despite the Dragon Balls being turned to stone, Supreme Kai and Kibito note that they sensed a mysterious presence earlier, but before any of them can do anything about it, Goma makes the wish to transform everyone who fought Majin Buu, including all of their friends, into children, and those who are children will be transformed into babies. We cut to Goku and the others being transformed into children while the opening song for Daima plays in the background, and we then cut to the credits, and that's Daima episode 1. Now the preview for episode 2 reveals that it's titled Glorio, and that's pretty much a wrap on what I think is a solid start to a new series. A lot of people drew parallels to Dragon Ball GT, while Daima is copying a couple of similar story beats. It's clear that this is a totally different series, and it's like Toriyama's version of GT. Instead of Goku just being turned into a child, everybody who fought against Buu is turned into a kid, and instead of Pilaf making the wish in GT, we have a much more interesting group of villains who are introduced, who consist of Goma, Degisu, and Dr. Arinsu, and these newly introduced villains link back to already established characters in the lore, as all of them know about King Dabura. They're disappointed that Babadi's magic had worked on him, while Degisu and Dr. Arinsu are revealed to be siblings of the Supreme Kai. I absolutely love this episode, but I do want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What did all of you think about Dragon Ball Daima episode 1? We learnt so much new information, from the Tamagamis to the introduction of Neva the Namek, and finally a proper explanation behind the Potara fusion and how Goku and Vegeta had defused within Buu's body, and how the Supreme Kai and Kibito ended up defusing. And from watching the episode, we have confirmation that Daima actually takes place before the events of Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, and just after the events of the Kid Buu arc, immediately after Goku launches the Spirit Bomb and they wish back planet Earth and all of the good people who died at the hands of Majin Buu. Are you guys as pleased as I am with the first episode of this new series? Let me know if you want me to continue my reviews for Dragon Ball Daima. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see you in my next Dragon Ball video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.